Yeah, Vincent Bryant. That's one I'm gonna highlight him. That's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Now Ron disappeared.
Nah, Ron's still there.
Felix is on
He just
mute.
gas me.
What
There
up?
we go. Felix.
What up? 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 It's your boy T,
Hey, it's your man B.
and you're on the Ride Up, season 3,
Season 3, episode 18. This might
19.
be coming. 19.
This is
My
19.
bad.
Yes.
This is gonna come up as soon as we upload it to. I'm just gonna say this now. We are like 6 episodes behind as far as upload to the streamers to YouTube Live, because so YouTube is up to date, but everything else is behind about 6 episodes. We actually not lost, but we skipped to 13, which is par for the course for like Philly. I mean, none of their buildings have a 13 in them, so all good. But yeah, like we're 6 or 7 behind. I think we're at 13 on the streamers. We have a all first verse from a while ago, so what I mean, that's on there. That's might be second to last thing I uploaded. But I was in Mexico. I turned 40, so you know what I mean.
Happy birthday,
Happy
my
40th,
guy.
my boy.
Appreciate it. And my man turned 41 2 days ago.
Yeah, my man Ron Jeremy, 41, baby.
You know what I mean? Ron,
Happy birthday, my guy.
42. Where you at now?
I'm 42, man.
Damn, he gave you a year.
Yeah, I mean, I subtracted. He still got his hairline, so that's the thing.
Blessed be the Lord. Blessed be thine hair, Lord.
Hopefully one day I'll join in the 40 club, man. In a couple of years.
You'll be there. You'll do it well too.
Yeah, you're gonna do it up too.
You'll do it well too.
We was in Cabo. My wife did her thing, man. Overdid it. You know what I mean? So I appreciate her. Shout out to Felicia. And it's fun that if we can put it all together, niggas can get passports. I'm going back. I'm
telling you, man. I've been trying to tell my friends, man. I've been trying to tell my friends, bro.
We went to the spot free of charge, and they was like outside. They asking if you want cocaine.
Cocaine is the new marijuana, bro.
Young, they said, "You want weed, cocaine?" Nah, I'm good on yeah, cocaine. Yeah. Nah, I'm all right, but yeah, but it was lit. Like, yeah, it was tight. It's
telling you,
fun
bro.
out there.
Once you get your passport, you see the world, man. It opens your mind to a different perspective. You think about life in a whole different dimension, though.
I will say this part. I will say this. Don't wait till you have kids to get it. Get the passport when you don't have kids, so you can take advantage of it.
Do it now
immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. Don't get me twisted. Me and mine, we gonna make trips. We just can't do it when you got a toddler running around. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, I could travel with a toddler, but why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
But listen, it's episode 19.
Episode 19.
So hey, listen, I'm a Notre Dame.
There's a basketball. Is there a basketball 19? Or are you about to go to where I think I'm about to go to? I think I know you're about to go.
I'm a Notre Dame fan. And this guy played for Notre Dame. He's one of the greatest of all time, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time.
I know you're okay.
None other than Joe Montana.
Yeah, Joe.
And I know we're thinking, wait, Joe Montana was 16.
For the Kansas City.
But Joe Montana played for Kansas City. And he was a bad man in Kansas City for that year he was there. Number 19. Joe Montana. Joe Montana episode.
Got you. All right. Yeah, no, I think that was where I thought you was going. So okay, cool. Bet. So, episode 19, Joe Montana.
So to open the show, I want to talk about some R&B. That's cool with you guys, you gentlemen. So cool. I did my personal ranking for the top 5 decades of R&B. I said 70s, 90s, 60s, 80s, no, 80s, 60s, and then the 2000s. That was my
Okay.
ranks.
Okay.
And I had somebody push back at first
Uh-huh.
and rank 60s, in my opinion, out of place.
That dog, man.
That's
What's up?
Kylo.
My
He's part of the fam. Kylo's part of the
That's
fam.
it's my G.
So I bring that up because I want to ask you guys if you have an opinion on it. Would you, if you put in, let's take it in a sports angle. If you put Marvin Gaye in the Hall of Fame, would his jersey be 60s or 70s?
Who?
Oh wow.
Marvin Gaye. So
I
here's
would
my
say
thing.
Marvin Gaye was in depth, and when he was in depth, he came out with some classic, bangers.
70s. I think the 70s. I think you say Hall of Fame in the 70s.
I'll say the 70s.
For Marvin Gaye?
When did Marvin Gaye die? When did he pass
In
In
the
away?
80s.
In 82, 83.
In the
He died in the 80s. So here's the thing. So
But like one of
the
his
person
Sexual
who
Healing came out in the 80s too. So that's what's crazy about it.
the person I
But
was
you know what's so
debating.
amazing? Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. What's
You
amazing?
know what's so amazing about that is that even in the 80s, it felt like he was still here.
Yeah.
So
Because he died like 84, 83, 84, something like that. And he had Sexual
I
Healing
wasn't
came
even
out.
born yet.
Sexual Healing came out and it like took over. So it was like, like that was one of his biggest records.
Marvin Gaye is one of those guys. I can't speak for you guys, but I'll say for me, I didn't find Marvin Gaye, and it's two artists who carry this. Well, actually, it's three artists. Three artists that I can say the way they're revered and the way that my elders talk about them. I didn't know that they were dead until like maybe so Marvin Gaye,
right.
Phyllis Hyman, and Donny Hathaway are three artists that I didn't know were dead because of the way they were so beloved and held up in the R&B space. I was like, learning about the music the thing about you hear Marvin Gaye and early on you hear Sexual Healing and you hear what's the other one? Let's Get It On. Those are the main two songs you hear from Marvin Gaye, right? And it's like, okay, well, I started looking for new music. It's like, oh, he's dead. Like, oh shit.
Don't forget I Chose You or I Choose You.
Why would I think what do you mean?
I think that was also part of his one of his hits as well too.
Would you put it in the top five?
There's a bunch of What's Going On is probably like 3 to that.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Let me dial back real quick. So I said I put him in the 70s, but they were putting the 60s up higher because they credited Marvin Gaye with the 60s. And I said, well, let's label. I asked him, I said, okay, well, do me a favor. Label your top 5 Marvin Gaye songs. And Let's Get It On and Sexual Healing
were the top
were,
2.
and Mercy, Mercy Me were the 3 of the 5 he named. I said, you do realize none of the songs you labeled were Marvin Gaye's 60s records. Like Marvin Gaye's duets and a lot of his early stuff, classic. But I feel like the stuff that once he hit the 70s, he super got into his bag.
Of course, he was 9 million in debt. He has no choice.
But that had nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
Bro, if you're in debt, listen. Like, I gotta correct something to.
But listen, what I'm saying is, as far as from an artistic standpoint, it was more so because it was ego from Berry Gordy's ego that was holding some of Marvin Gaye back. Because Marvin Gaye was the man. Marvin Gaye was the man. All the women wanted Marvin. He was smooth as I don't even tell you how smooth he was. Berry Gordy was he wanted to be what Marvin Gaye was.
The 60s and 70s, as far as like R&B and the business, is crazy. We can talk about all of that shit. Like you can like read the stories about. Lionel Richie was back then. You know what I mean? People was writing. People get their writing credits stolen people got strong on. It was like way wilder shit than Shook. There was like Shook Knight times 100 on a lot of shit. Otis Red, like even in the 50s, like Otis Redden dies, and you know what I mean. Bobby Womack takes his wife, and all. Like it's a rack of wild shit that goes on in the 50s and 60s that we could talk about. Like you know, what I mean, Motown to the least of it, like with Diana Ross and there's dang, I'm gonna forget her name. There was another writer that like had the like you know Debo her writing credits from Barry Gordy, and like Barry Gordy's a gangster himself. Like it's crazy things that happen in Detroit and the Motown with those records. And like Marvin Gaye, shout out to you know the DC veteran, had to fight his way to relevancy. Like you know what I mean, and he made a lot of. To me, like I don't know, man. Like you can't like separate the music business, and the politics of it from the 60s and 70s. You just can't. Like, Aretha Franklin's back in there. You gotta talk about all of that shit. And you know, I mean, Patti LaBelle's beef with, you know, what I mean, like whoever, and Gladys Knight, and you know, what I mean, it's just and Patti LaBelle's coke, like Patti LaBelle, like anyway, like all the drugs.
Patty had a life.
Hey, you gotta understand, back in their time,
Patty
like you know,
LaBelle.
70s, that was the popular thing to do.
Yeah,
especially with cocaine. Like
Patty
cocaine
LaBelle
was
had a wild life.
I'm not judging nobody. I'm not judging nobody. Like Ray Charles was on heroin. Like
of course,
I mean, like that shit was crazy back then. So
I would agree with my boy T. Even though I was born in the late 80s, you know what I'm saying? I love the 90s. The 90s is my era, you know what I'm saying?
That's why it's number 2.
But the 70s, even the 80s, it was a lot of originality. You know what I'm saying? It was very original. Like 90s, right now, even the 90s and 2000, even now, it's sampling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything's sampled. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember Prince said it, that it's to the point where it's getting too crazy because people are sampling from, you know, sampling shit, not knowing that the one that they just sampled was sampled. You know what I'm saying?
It's 2022 and there's a lot of that going on, especially with hit makers.
There's a lot of originality. Everybody's in the dungeon. Everybody's in the studio, thinking outside the box. And
so let me ask you this. So Felix, would you rank 90s as your favorite decade of R&B?
I can't say that. I definitely can't say that. But
so what would you rank as the number one?
As a whole, when we're talking about films, we're talking about TV shows, we're talking about movies, and we're talking about music. You know what I'm saying? I put the 90s right there. But
how about you, Ron?
But R&B, nah.
Ron, let me just while he's thinking, let me just lay out Ron's credentials, man. Like he's been attached to like R&B for a long time. So it's like his man's did a lot of production for R&B people that we've heard before. I don't even want to put them out there. So and he was part, you know what I mean? He inspired a lot of that shit to me, in my opinion. Inspired the people that did some of that shit. So like his
and Ron sang background for Old Town.
You know what I mean? And 703.
Background for Old Town.
But look, like Ron is a musical guy, man. Like so, yeah. Ron, what you got?
I mean, I would have to say 70s, 90s, 80s, 60s.
You know why?
So you agree with me?
You know why? I'm gonna have to, so I'm not gonna agree with you.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with the 70s.
You never did.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait. So you say you start with the 70s?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the 70s.
Me?
Oh, okay.
Then I'm gonna go to the 60s.
Okay. The 60s.
And then I'm gonna go to the 90s.
Okay.
and then I'm going to the 2000s, and then I'm going to the 80s.
You wildin'. You wildin'.
Oh,
wow.
You wildin',
Wait,
my
wait,
guy.
wait.
I'm sorry. You wildin'.
Okay,
I mean,
so
Yeah. You know why? You know why?
Wow.
Yeah,
we need to know why. We need to know why.
I'm gonna say why. The 80s, you can get all that synth bullshit out of there. Get all that cameo. Get all that shit, bro. Like, nah.
Yo.
Like, talking about
What?
We, no. We talk about Thriller. That's not R&B. That's pop. All right. So,
That wasn't
Doesn't matter.
That's
all
not
right,
even.
bet.
Hold on.
Bet.
Okay. Is this pop too? Is this pop
Off the
too?
wall. No,
Is
that's
that
R&B.
what?
That's R&B. That's R&B. You can drop. Why do you have so many 45s?
He has the violin that I want. He has a lot of them. That's what he
Those
does.
are vinyls, bro.
I see your vinyls. That's what's up.
Wait,
You got a bunch of wax.
listen. We need to give Brian our undivided attention because
That's what he wants.
Brian, I need you to explain how you got the 2000s over the 80s.
So we're talking about people sampling.
Let me before you get. Let me name a couple songs that would describe Saturday Love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna name groups. Ready for the World, Atlantic Star, Cameo,
No,
Luther.
okay.
A lot of Patty hits.
Luther did a lot of work in the 90s too.
No, a lot of his hits were 80s.
A lot. I'm saying a lot of his. He spans 3 decades, 4 decades. So of course.
Michael Jackson, his three great.
Bro, Michael Jackson's pop. Remember?
Fuck all that. Fuck all that. No.
I did.
No. Some of his records were pop, and some were R&B.
Exactly.
Billie Jean.
Stop hating, B.
Billie Jean.
Stop hating, B.
Thriller is not a pop record. He just transcend. He just transcend. He's just mainstream.
No.
Oh,
Don't do that. That's a
Prince.
2-minute 50-song pop record that he made a 5-minute video about. Prince is this. This is why.
Yo.
No.
That's why I put 80s in the back. That's why I put 80s in the back.
T, you forgot about this too. The Isley Brothers. You can't get the
That's
fuck
70s.
out. Yo, B,
That's
get the
70s.
fuck
And
out.
80s.
Between the sheets is the 70s.
And 80s.
It's 83, bro. 83.
Between the sheets came out in like 78.
83.
Whitney Houston is in the 80s, Brian.
She didn't do
83s, my guy, B.
she
Do
did-
your homework.
she did-
83s.
She didn't do Bodyguard till the 90s, so
Oh, she was submitted before the body.
her biggest
She
R&B
was
hit
submitted
was in
before the
90s.
Bodyguard, bro.
Her biggest R&B hit was
Bro.
in the 90s.
Yo, B.
It wasn't in the 2000s.
Hold on.
And I didn't put the 2000s.
I gotta correct the co-host, though.
No, but you put 2000 over the 80s.
Yo.
Yeah.
Come on,
The 80s are the last.
Go ahead, Felix.
Yo, In Between the Sheets was in 1983, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
I bet if I'm wrong,
It
I'm
was not
wrong.
in the 70s.
I'll stand corrected.
Okay, but
I'll stand corrected.
what does the 2000s give you to say you would put them over the
Hey,
80s?
yo, T,
though?
you forgot this too. The Gap Band.
I didn't forget. I just didn't keep going.
Okay. I'm sorry.
And you can put Franklin Beverly on as power.
Computer Love is in the 80s.
Mhm.
Zap.
Computer. That's what I'm talking about. So the artists from the 80s that talk all that shit about originality that Felix was talking about was saying, oh, they're sampled. Y'all was doing computer synths. They were programmed. There's a lot of programmed music, period.
Computer
There's a lot
love.
of programmed music. Fam, I'm talking about the programmed music.
Guy is in the 80s.
There wasn't
Computer
any live
love.
instrumentation. We talk about Al Green in the 60s and 70s doing live instrumentation, and then we go to the synth fucking computer 808 rolling shit that we had in the 80s. That shit is
Don't
whack
forget
to
about
me.
Computer Love by Zach, dog.
I said
Don't
that.
forget. Don't forget. Don't forget.
One of my-
Don't forget about Night and Day from the I'll Be Sure, dog.
That's in the.
Don't forget about
It's at the end of it.
dog.
The New Jack Era was birthed at the end of the 80s, going into the 90s too. But listen, so here's the thing. One person said that
While
I
I eat, I'm gonna turn my video off.
one of my good friends, he put the 80s at the bottom, and this is why I thought Brian was going to go with. He put the 80s at the bottom because he dissed disco. And I was like, whoa, disco is amazing. And I don't stand for disco slander. Like disco is amazing.
I mean, the disco
Like,
is between the 70s and early 80s.
It's early 80s, but like he put disco on the 80s lap and slandered the 80s because of disco. And I'm like, yo, 80s disco. Listen, they killed disco because it was radical, and a lot of homosexuals loved dancing in the 80s, and it was like acting like they would. Disco was amazing. I wish I was in the disco era.
There's a lot of dope disco records, but
the thing about all those decades is that they, at some point, they flow within each other. Right?
Yes.
So you have to, if you love the 70s, how can you not love, of course, right?
Well, you didn't say you don't love it. You gotta like it.
But what I'm saying is, like, if the flow, if the 90s flow better for you, if the 90s into the 2000s flowed better to you than per se like the 70s or 80s, I can see why B would put the 2000s before the 80s.
Nah, I'm sorry. I just named you some of the I was like I said, I was born in the late 80s, but because of my father, I was able to listen to, like, before me. Like, can you stick these vinyls that I just showed y'all? I stole it from my father. He don't even play vinyls no more. I'm playing them joints right now, bro.
So you're disrespecting. My thing is,
I appreciate the 80s so much, bro. Like, if I was born in the 80s, dog.
My thing is,
I should have, like, my grandfather had 32 kids. I'll probably have like 45. Yeah, rest in peace. My grandfather had 32 kids, bro.
God bless.
32
I
kids.
suppose you be fucking.
Have mercy. Jesus.
So I'm not going to disrespect the 80s. What I'm saying is there's a plethora of synth music that they then go back and then disrespect the 90s and 2000s with, they sample and interpolate and on this and the third. And so, fam, like y'all was making program music.
Yo, B, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, though, but it's not. I'm not connecting right now because I didn't even put Earth, Wind, and Fire though. But since you're saying
they're the 70s to me. So
there's a lot of hits from Earth, Wind, and Fire from the 80s,
there's
my guy.
That flow. There's that flow that we're talking about. What I'm trying to say is that.
But the 2000s, the only thing about don't get me wrong, I love the 2000s. Case, 112, Drew Hill, I love them all though. But and what I said before, originality though.
Oh, the 70s, B. Where the 70s at on your list?
70s number one.
B, the 70s are number one for
you?
you?
70s number one.
70s is number one, and then the 90s number two.
Oh my!
80s.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, guys.
I said 70s.
Guys, can I just real quick? I just want to. Can you hear me? Are y'all hearing me? Yeah, are y'all hearing me clear?
Yeah.
If please bear with me. I just want to name a couple songs, a couple groups real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of it. Pause. All right, just After 7 with Can't Stop and Ready or Not. Anita Baker's Sweet Love album, Lord Jesus. Hold on. Bobby Brown's Don't Be Cruel albums in the 80s. That includes. Please pardon me. Please pardon me. Wait.
Of great.
Please pardon me. Whether or not you like Bobby Brown, now you know who is great. Babyface is great, and he wrote those records. Teddy Riley is great, and he wrote those records. Hold up. Wait a minute. Don't get hung up on one artist, because I ain't done. Because we already said Cameo, and Cameo's one of the greatest. Sherelle's one of the beautiful voice. I'm still going. Hold on, wait one second. The Bars I Like It record. The Deal. That's what 2 occasions. Force MD with Tender Love. Come on. Like you said, Gap Band, Outstanding came out. Guy, Teddy's Jam, Wait a minute. Give me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. We already said Ozzy Brothers had music in that era. Freddie Jackson, Rock With Me Tonight, Janet Jackson's Control album. Give me a second. Wait.
Keep going.
Rick James in the 80s.
Keep going.
Quincy Jones had an album in the 80s.
Keep going.
I'm still, oh my God. Levert Casanova. Lisa Lisa and the Coat Jam. Cheryl Lynn with Encore. Lord Jesus, amazing song. Tina Marie. Maze, Before I Let Go, and Joy and Pain, record to drop in the 80s.
Love TKO.
Midnight Star. Wait. Midnight Star, Midas Touch, one of the greatest dance records of all time. But whatever, I'm gonna keep going. Give me a second, please. Pardon me. Then we know New Edition's Heartbreak album came out. We don't need to talk about that one. Can You Stand the Rain? One of the greatest records of all time. I'm not the whole of it. Alexander O'Neal. What? One of the most amazing voices of all time.
Hold on.
Wait. I'm still running. Teddy Pendergrass, Love TKO.
I just said that.
What?
Yo, hold on.
Ready for the world.
Hold on.
Renee
and the Queen of Niger.
Sade.
Smooth operator.
Sade.
Get the fuck out of here.
Sade. Wait. Slave Watching You. Watching you. What? The 80s. SOS Band. Soul to Soul. Keep on moving. Don't stop. Come on. Soul to Soul. That
y'all
also
playing,
on that.
Y'all are naming a lot of songs.
Keith Sweat. Make it last forever.
In the 80s.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
The system don't disturb this groove. Lord Jesus.
Yes.
Lord Jesus. Timex Social Club.
Okay.
Today. Tony. Troop. Oh my. All I Do Is Think of You. Remake, yes, but they got some original records on that one. Give me a second. Please pardon with me. I know I love you. I appreciate it. Thank you for this. Give me one more second. I'm keep going. Silly and Me by Denise Williams. Silly and Me. One of the that's amazing record. Westman's Rocksteady. What? Karen White, Superwoman. The Way You Love Me. I'm not gonna name anymore. I'm just saying, Brian. I say that to say that not every record falls under that knock that you gave for the 80s. That's the run I was doing. I wanted to name those songs. That's what I get to that point.
Brian, you are so wrong in these dudes' eyes right now.
No, and I get what Brian's saying. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I understand.
It's unbelievable.
He's not completely. Brian isn't completely wrong. He isn't completely wrong. I can understand why he would knock the 80s down based on other people's criteria. But what I'm saying is, it's so much more to the 80s.
Artist criteria.
Yes, I give you that.
Thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the 80s criteria, but they was pre-programmed beats.
Not everyone, because there were still bands. I listened a lot of people that were having live bands.
Sade
a lot of people,
band, cool. Yeah.
Yes, Sade, okay. The Gap Band had a band. The Whispers had a band. Earth, Wind & Fire had a band. A lot of those artists still had bands.
Earth, Wind & Fire is a band.
Absolutely. Okay, they're a band. Luther had a band. You know what I'm saying? Troop may have a band, but they were
a man that plays fucking sampled records. Like, come on, bro. Like, there's a thing.
But they didn't have sampled records in the 80s. They might have remade a record, but they weren't sampling them then.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't respect it as much. Because
okay, so why would you put the 2000s above it? Like, give me some reason why the 2000s would be above it. And I'm only talking 2000 to 2010. That's a decade.
Usher was in his prime in that decade.
Okay.
Chris Brown is in his prime in that decade.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He's not his prime. His prime?
Yes, the fuck he was. What the fuck are you talking about?
His prime his prime from 2000 to 2010?
Yeah, his prime was like 2006 before he beat Rihanna up.
He wasn't in his prime until after that.
Okay, bro.
What is prime Chris Brown to you? Like, what album is prime Chris Brown to you?
His first album.
No.
It wasn't.
We can't get up.
When the album when he came out with these hoes ain't loyal. That's when he started to okay.
He had another. That's a renaissance. That's his renaissance. That's not his prime. That's the thing.
His first two albums of Chris Brown.
He was about to be. He was about to be as big as anybody in the game, like as Beyonce right now. He still be as big as Beyonce right now. Fam,
I disagree with you, dog.
Fam, what are we talking about? Before he beat Rihanna or Rihanna, they fought. Let's just
wait.
Whatever. I don't want to call it. Before they fought, he was about to be bigger. He was about to be big as Beyonce is right now. Like if they were on the same course without the Rihanna fight, he'd be as big. He'd drop an album and people would be
Brown
like fucking
was in his prime
the same way.
Chris Brown was in his prime after the Rihanna incident, bro.
No, he was not.
Yes, he was.
That's a lie, fam.
That's not a lie, bro.
Transformer was trash. And that's what and Wayne saved them. Wayne saved that song specifically.
I can't believe him.
See, hey, Brian.
And then Kevin McCall gave him another run. That's the facts. Kevin McCall gave him another run. That's
because he wasn't in his prime. He wasn't in his prime yet, Brian.
Brian, what are you
I see it differently than you, Brian. I don't see the Rihanna situation hindering him. I feel like the Rihanna situation freed him.
Because now he doesn't have to placate the white people. Yeah,
no, probably. He don't have to placate to anybody. It freed him from the shackles of being the new, clean face. He got to actually be the dirty, expressive artist that he wanted to be. Beforehand, he could there were songs he think about it. Before the Rihanna situation, he wasn't profane and cussing and vulgar on his music.
So B, what I'm trying to tell you is this. I'll give another example. For instance, Usher started to be in his prime when Confession touched down. That's
2003. In 2003, but 8702.
I think that was his peak. No, I think
it's actually better than
My Way 8701. My Way 8701. Yeah. Good album, but he wasn't there yet.
No, classic album. No, wait.
No.
Classic album. Stop.
No. 8701 is prime Usher.
Yes.
Okay.
8701 is prime Usher. Confessions is apex. Because he didn't go any higher after Confessions. That was his apex. And
but he don't need to go higher than...
No, but he sort of apex at Confessions, and then he sort of dipped down. His album after that was a failure. He had a few songs. Man, Fitness went over this. He had a few songs, but overall that album was a failure. But then he once that happened, he plateaued after that and went Raymond versus Raymond, which was sort of like he saved his career with that album. Because based on Confessions, the album he dropped after that, I can't remember the name on top of my head, but the gap was so huge, that it was like, yo, Usher, people were saying Usher fell off. That's how big of a gap the quality was between those two albums. Whereas you talking about My Way, a classic album going up. 8701, classic album going up. Confessions, one of the greatest albums of the century. And then that album, it's like, But Raymond versus Raymond, the album might have had 16 songs. At least 9 of them were solidified good records with a couple fillers. But even still, okay, you got Chris Brown, Usher.
You want me to say it?
Please keep defending the 2000s over the 80s for me.
Okay. Hold on. Let's say this. We all love. Wait a minute, please. I'll say this. Controversial up. Hold up. I'll say this before you get into it, Brian. We love the 2000s too, though. I'm not saying fuck the 2000s. I'm just saying compared to the 80s. We can obviously say 112 had great music in the early 2000s. Jagged Edge. Aaliyah, Jagged Edge.
Aaliyah?
112.
No,
Aaliyah was in the 90s, my guy.
In 2000, she had joints.
No, bro, she died in 2001?
90s. She died in 2001. She had joints in 2000. What are you talking about?
What joints?
97, bro.
The majority of her music is in the 90s, B.
Late
No,
90s, bro.
97 is that's 14 ancient number. I'm talking about
No,
99.
no.
2000.
No,
Bro. Hold on, real quick. So Aaliyah, her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, that was in the 90s. Her second album, One in a Million, is in the 90s. Her first two albums with most of her hits are in the 90s. In 1999, she might have did the joint. She had a record for Next Friday. 2001 was that Resolution album, which wasn't as good as the first two. You can get that to the 2000s, but that wasn't as good as the first two. And she was working. She had Rock the Boat, and she had.
Well, your main thing you're arguing about with me is that the 80s should be higher up. So that's Aaliyah is 90, late 90s is okay. Cool. Doesn't matter if I give it in 2000s or 90s. I have both of them over the 80s. So okay, bet. R. Kelly came out with Chocolate Factory in 2002.
Okay.
We talking about Prime. Okay. We don't, nigga. What are we talking about? Wait. When Chocolate Factory came out, that's not even a top 5 R&B. That's not even top 3 R. Kelly album. What? It's not a top 3 R. Kelly album. I didn't stutter.
Wow. I'm signing out.
No, that's bullshit.
Thank you so much for having me, dog.
That's bullshit. Chocolate Factory is absolutely.
Thank you for having me, dog, because B's talking crazy right now. I don't want to.
Brian,
Chocolate Factory is absolutely a top 5 fucking R. Kelly album.
I said top 3. It's not a top 3 R. Kelly album. But
what is So what is
R. Kelly's top 3 in your opinion?
12
in my opinion.
12 play has to be one.
12 play.
Okay.
TP2.com, which is in 2000.
Right.
And then I put the R album, the R. Kelly album. Yeah. That's my top 3.
The double disc?
No. The one before the double disc.
R.
I put Chocolate Factory over. That's the R. The double disc is R. The red album. I put Chocolate Factory over R. But here's the thing. If I rank them, that's why I said that I didn't say top 5. I said top 3. If I rank R. Kelly albums, I would say 12 play, TP2.com, R. Kelly, the Born in the 90s, and then Chocolate Factory. Chocolate Factory is 5 for me.
It was a wild ass nigga, bro.
I'll say 12 play.
Like there's no song on Chocolate Factory better than Slow Dance or Honey Love. There's no song on that album better than those songs.
There's a dozen songs that's done better than all the motherfucking songs. So what are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? There's a dozen songs that did better than all the songs you talking about. Honey Love or whatever the fuck you talking about did better than those. Bump and Grind is right, the 90s. That's the 90s.
That is not on Chocolate Factory.
Again, you're talking about shit that I'm covering. I said the 90s is better than the 80s. So I'm already covering
Bro, we're not talking about the 90s. I'm just saying R. Kelly wise. But we're talking about
he was still on his shit in 2002 and 2000 when he had his
he was on another. He was doing some other shit. You know, he had Trapped in the Closet in the 2000s.
Trapped in the Closet, Chocolate Factory, and fuck Trapped in the Closet, Chocolate Factory, and TP2 in the 2000s. He was on his shit.
Oh,
he's on his shit.
TP2.com, that's my shit. Okay. That's my shit.
So okay.
What's the best song off for Chocolate Factory in your opinion?
Oh man, the Ignition and Ignition remix are both the fucking shit. And at the end of the day, hold on a second. No.
He probably like Step in the Name of Love or some shit.
That shit still does numbers. It's still on the fucking reunion card.
I'm just saying you probably like that.
No, Heart of a Woman.
So,
what are we talking about?
So what?
Heart of a Woman is dope as fuck. What are you talking about?
That's a Step in the Name of Love. That's what I said.
Come on, man. What are we doing?
All right, okay. So those 3. Hey, Brian, I need you to reel off some more. Just reel off some 2000s music for me. Listen. Like you said that you said that Bobby Brown can't sing.
He can't.
Okay. Okay, their artists.
It's not okay.
Like,
it's not okay.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Fact.
No, right. Wait a minute.
That's
wait a
an
minute.
objective fact. No.
I love-
Wait.
Okay.
You know what? Let me take this. Let me
Wait,
take
wait.
the.
I like Music Soul Child.
No, wait.
I like Music Soul
I got
Child.
you. Hold on.
He's one of the best
I need to put you on
artists
speaker.
in the 2000s. Yes.
2000.
Soul Child is one of the biggest artists in the 2000s. Yes.
Facts.
Who?
Soul Child.
Music
Yeah.
What do you consider? Okay, so this I'm just okay. So what do you consider Erykah Badu?
2000.
What do you consider?
Nah,
Jill
she's in the
Scott?
90s.
I
Late
gotta
90s,
say
early
2000s
It's 2000.
because she's
What do you
2000.
consider- okay. What do you consider Jill Scott?
2000.
Definitely.
She's strictly
Her
2000.
first album came out in 1999.
Music Soul Child.
2000.
Definitely.
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo?
90s.
90s. Yeah, his biggest
Well,
hits came out in the 90s.
90s.
It's that's because his first album came out in the 90s.
Brown Sugar?
And
then-
both of them came out in the 90s. 99 is when
Voodoo.
came out.
When did Voodoo come out? When did Voodoo?
Voodoo.
99.
99,
Okay.
yeah.
It's right on the cusp, but it's 99.
90s. 90s.
Right.
Okay, so
Listen. Go ahead, Ron.
no. So okay, so then we look at some of the artists. Did Whitney Houston have any great albums in 2000?
No.
Did Michael
No.
Jackson have any great albums in the year 2000?
Yes.
Invincible.
Yes. But
Did
it doesn't
Prince?
compare to the other ones, though.
Okay, no, we're not. We're not going there.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's not where we're going.
No, okay. Yeah, I'm with you. No.
Did Prince have any good albums in the 2000s?
No.
Really?
No,
No.
maybe like the Prince fans. The Prince fans, they probably
No.
good.
Okay.
They wasn't mass consumed. So
I mean,
You
he
asking me,
probably-
I'm saying no.
It
You
depends.
asking me, I'm saying no.
It's based on
Okay.
your preference. It's based on your preference.
Do we remember? Do we at least remember Prince in the 2000s?
no,
Yes.
no, we don't.
I
I mean, of
okay.
course, as
I'll say
he
this.
is.
As a
Yes.
person who worked at a music store, Prince's probably last album that made rounds for even the diehard Prince fans was Musicology. And I didn't think that was a good album. It wasn't a bad album. It wasn't a bad album. It was very cultish. His albums became very cultish. Like you had to be part of the Prince cult to crave the Prince albums.
Okay.
Right.
Did Mariah
I
Carey
agree with
have any great albums in the 2000s?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Emancipation of Mimi is one of the greatest albums of the century.
Facts.
So B, are you saying it was the artist or it was the music that was better in the 2000s?
To me, I say
Compared to
that
the
the hypocrisy of the 80s, the hypocrisy of the artists from the 80s, comparing themselves to hip hop in general and other R&B artists, to me, knocks them down. Like
That's what I said. That's what I said. He's where he is.
The same type of shit. Y'all just were originally on the computer.
So is that comparable? You're saying that's comparable to us might not liking like today's hip hop compared to 90s hip hop.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's the same argument of us looking at the fashion of today, and then somebody pull up a picture
compared to
Houdini or something where they got.
We did. He was originals. We were the originals.
If you look at it, listen. If you're gonna look at it, then if you look at it through that light, okay.
And there's a lot of great music in the 80s. I'm not trying to shit on things like that, but I'm just saying the hypocrisy makes me like it taints it. It taints it.
I can respect that. I mean,
okay. And that's what it is.
That's all it was. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
But we all in agreement that the 90s.
We have not talked about Beyonce being in the 2000s, but you got it.
I mean,
being the artist of the last 22 years.
Beyonce is definitely the great queen, and she. Say what?
The greatest artist of the last 22 years. What are we doing?
You can't
what do we think about?
You can't argue that. Listen,
I'm trying to think right now. Relax. Y'all need to relax. Relax. Y'all don't even know what I'm thinking about. Y'all don't even know what I'm thinking about. Y'all need to relax. Y'all acting like the Beehive right now, and I'm part of the Beehive, so y'all need to relax.
It's not even that, man. We just paying dues, man. That's not
what was happening just now. Y'all came attacking me just because I started thinking.
All I said was there ain't nobody out here the last 22 years that doing the same shit that just now dropped the fucking album.
So this is where this is where I have an issue with Brian's number. Now, her reign supreme is long going.
We're gonna say 21 years.
Wait a minute. Let me
unprecedented.
Let me put a pause on you for a second.
Okay, got you.
Because Dangerously in Love didn't come out 22 years ago. So she wasn't even a solo artist until 2003, and her reign as the top.
Oh my God! Are you doing that right now?
Wait a minute.
We're gonna split those hairs. We're gonna split.
Bro, you put a very yes or no? Did you not put a very specific number on her reign? Yes or no?
The last 22 years, and I didn't
say you keep saying that's a random ass number.
Destiny's Child.
That's a specific number. Yes or no?
22 since 2000. That's the specific number we're talking about,
but
right?
She wasn't a solo art. Number one, she wasn't a solo artist, nor was she the queen of R&B for the last because
so we don't count Michael. We don't count the Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. You don't count.
Wait a minute. I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere.
Right, go where you're going, and then we can shit on where you're going.
Thank you. Give me a second because you said 22 years, right?
Yes.
For the first couple years of Dangerously in Love, Beyonce was doing her thing, but she was in somebody's shadow. So you can't be in somebody's shadow. And
whose shadow was she in?
Aaliyah's.
Okay.
My G, don't do this.
Aaliyah's.
No.
Aaliyah's.
No.
Nobody was saying Beyonce was the top of R&B when she was in Destiny's Child. We're not going to do that. I can't allow that. I can't allow that.
She was because that's the
I can't allow that. She was not. Nobody was saying Beyonce was the queen of R&B when she was in Destiny's Child. Stop the bullshit.
This is ridiculous.
Stop the bullshit.
Artist to artist.
Stop the bullshit.
Beautiful and great as she is, she cannot sing. She could not sing on the level of Beyonce.
That has nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm just
because I'm gonna tell you because there are plenty of artists that sing way better than Beyonce, and they don't touch Beyonce.
Better than Beyonce, okay?
Right, but you're not gonna put Jill over Beyonce. Yes, right? Beyonce is above Jill, right?
First of all, Beyonce sings well enough. First of all, better than Aaliyah. I'm just gonna put it out there. But
Aaliyah was the top.
Aaliyah, are you gonna make shit on Aaliyah in this fucking 2022?
You have to.
We gotta move on, man.
No. That's gonna be a different. Listen, if Brian would have said once Dangerously in Love came out, nobody was fucking with Beyonce, I completely agree.
My G, Survivor is a Beyonce song.
That album was not the shit. That album was weak as fuck.
What are you talking about, Bully?
It was weak as fuck.
So just
Bootylicious was a Beyonce song.
Just to dance with you, just to be on the floor with you, because this is what you
talk, Ron. We talk. Just try to talk to sense.
What you love to do. Let's be on the dance floor and let's do our Nelly rocks and our our Millie rocks and our Harlem shakes and let's just dance. So Michael Jackson before the Jackson 5 was what?
The lead singer of the Jackson 5. The lead singer of the Jackson 5.
Where is T?
He's confounded by your question. He's puzzled.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
No. So I'm asking, what was Michael Jackson before Off the Wall and Thriller and all that and all that? What do you when you see Michael Jackson as a Jackson 5 member, what do you say about that?
He was that nigga. Mike was that nigga in Jackson 5. Beyonce and Destiny's Child weren't the Jackson 5. They weren't.
That's not what I'm saying. Do you Do you know Beyonce was in a group?
Yes.
Right.
Destiny's Child.
What was the name of the group?
I just said it, Destiny's Child.
And was Destiny's Child somewhat of a force as an R&B female group?
Somewhat, yes.
Were
Somewhat.
they a force? Were they a force? Did they sell multiple platinum album records?
Somewhat, yes.
They're the last girl group, and they're one of the last girl groups that
did they win Grammys? Yes, they did. Right? Destiny's Child won Grammys.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did they win those Grammys?
Because there was no other
Beyonce. This is
Beyonce.
Listen,
Okay.
Okay.
Brian just said Beyonce.
Yes, because of Beyonce.
No, he's not gonna say it, but he said you said it. So what I'm trying to say is that you can't discredit.
You can't divorce.
Time,
you can't divorce that time, that 2000 to 2003, while she's still in Destiny's Child.
She was going to
Beyonce's legacy of the last 22 years.
I'm not saying she wasn't going to be a force.
That team.
What I'm saying is she wasn't
in
that spot yet.
On that team, and then she went solo in a 101 tournament. Like, okay.
So I'm not giving her 22 years. I'm sorry. I'm not giving her 22 years.
Fine.
I'm giving her a whole 22 years.
2000 was 2000.
So then let me ask you a question. If that's the case, then why stop at 22 years? Why not give it a whole go right on the wall then?
You just divided the decades. Because you just divided the decades. So
that means then
because I would have gave her 25 years because she went out in 97 and did her fucking thing. Like the fuck.
When was the first Destiny's Child album? I don't
like 90 like 97
in 2022.
The first Destiny's Child album came out like 97.
Bro.
Then Rise on the Wall came out 99.
Okay, all right. Okay.
98.
That's like discrediting, Lil Wayne when he was on the Hot Boys.
Because of Beyonce.
Because he wasn't the lead rapper.
But he
so
was
what
still
not discredit him? No, Juvenile was the nigga. In Hot Boys, Juvenile was that nigga. There's no debating that. In Hot Boys, Juvie was that nigga.
How did he get the cash money?
Wait, I don't want to meet his boy mouth. I'm just shooting that analogy down.
Cash money.
Yeah, I don't like that analogy.
So
I don't know if I like that analogy.
So let me get this straight.
Why is Lil Wayne? Because Wayne couldn't rap the way he rapped.
I'm just for clarity reasons. Even when Aaliyah was alive, Beyonce was above her. Is what y'all telling me?
There was not a comparison.
That's what y'all telling me. Exactly. It wasn't even a comparison.
Wait, I didn't catch it. What did you say?
I'm saying while Aaliyah was alive in the 2000s, Beyonce was above her.
In 2000, she died in 2001. Technically, yes. Because I'm sorry.
Even in death, bro. Even in death.
No, Rock the Boat was not the joint, bro. No. That's not revisionist history. That's not revisionist.
It was a great record, bro.
No, it's a good record. It's a good record. It's not a great.
It was a great record, bro.
No, it was a great record. It's
not
a great record.
No, Rock the Boat was a great record.
Damn, Rock the Boat is not. Does pales in comparison to 4-page letter, resolution.
Honestly, we already did that. We're not going double dip on that. I've already said the music he did in the 90s is much better than. Yeah, we already did that.
Wait, Felix really did leave, did he?
No, he did.
He's
just off camera. He's off camera.
I'm just listening, man. I'm trying to just keep my composure, man. So that's I don't. I was told you have nothing good to say. Just keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying?
Just don't say it at all. Oh wow.
Okay. I'm just. I don't know. Carry on.
All right, so let's go. Let's talk. Let's keep talking about 2000. Because Beyonce carries this 2 decades.
Okay.
The last 2 decades.
Okay.
You keep bringing up Aaliyah, and
only. Well, just listen. To be clear,
I agree 100%. What you're saying is actual facts. Beyonce was in the shadow of Aaliyah
from 1997 to 1999. Nobody.
Bro, even in 2000, bro.
My nigga, do not talk about Rock the Boat. First off, Rock the Boat came out after she died. Let me just say that.
But it was being played
Resolution, what you're talking
beforehand.
about, that Timbo beat, the Resolution, that was on the charts for a long ass time.
That's not the
Survivor was on the
that's
fucking
not
charts the
argument,
same
though.
way.
That's
And
not
she
the
was, and
argument.
Beyonce was featured. And at the time, people were saying, when is Beyonce come out solo? When is she gonna come out solo? When is she gonna come? For a year and a half. No, for 3 years before she actually came out fucking solo, because all the fucking group changes. She survived 3 group changes, bro. 5 girls' time. like 4 or 5.
She survived it. Her daddy was the fucking. Anyways, okay. All right.
Survived.
Okay.
Yes, the talent of fucking Beyonce survived. Who gives a fuck about Matthew Knowles now? Has Matthew
now
Knowles
we're not talking about now. We're talking about in 2000s. We're talking about the 2000s, not now. Not now. We're talking about the 2000s. Stop what you're doing. We're talking about the 2000s, bro.
Fucking Beyonce. So
we're talking about the 2000s. Stick to the script.
I'm sticking.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
you're talking
keep going.
about the 90s with Aaliyah. That's when she made her fucking noise. And we're talking about 2000. We're talking about 2000 Survivor, when she was about, like, and then with Austin Powers shit, she was about to, like, take the fuck off. Nobody was thinking of, we thought about Aaliyah.
I agree.
We thought about Aaliyah.
I agree.
Rest in peace, Aaliyah.
I agree. When Beyonce was about to take off, Aaliyah was actually starring in a movie. So Beyonce was a co-star.
So T, so what? Okay, so what? All right, so this is where the conversation.
That's the 90s too. So
this is where the conversation is real silly.
What's up?
B, you said 22 years, right?
Yes, it's 2022 right now.
So what? So T, what is your reign? What is your years? How many years are you saying?
What I'm saying is Beyonce was still in the female R&B lane was in Aaliyah's shadow for at least 3-4 years after she passed away.
Right. So what I'm asking is, how long are you saying her reign was?
Is currently still.
Talking about Beyonce's
right now. Yes.
B said 22.
I said about 19. I started with saying this. Y'all made it a big thing.
I said don't split those hairs, and you continue to split the hairs.
No, I just said don't. I said we gotta talk about it because you were specific with that 22, and I was like, wait a minute. So I said, wait a minute.
With the 22,
with the 19.
Whenever no, not even 19. I say 19 because that's when Dangerously in Love came out.
That's when that's the album came out. Yes.
So you're saying
Dangerously in Love.
You're saying 19 years.
But even when that album came out, Beyonce was taking bullets. Aaliyah ain't take no bullets.
She took you know what? You're gonna get me to say something disrespectful about Aaliyah. I don't want to do it.
No, you should have said it, bro. Why you didn't say it? You should have said it. Why you didn't say it? You was gonna say she took a plane crash. You sorry son of a bitch. He was gonna say
something super disrespectful, and I'm not gonna do it. No.
Our podcast about to go down in flames. Oh wait.
Yo, yeah,
No.
Our podcast would have had a crash landing.
Yeah, bruh.
Before it even started.
Oh, come on.
Listen,
man.
And I said that I am in the Beehive. I love B. Dangerously in Love is still my favorite Beyonce album.
Okay, so we're 3 years. So it's a 3 year. We're off by 3 years.
Yes, in my opinion.
I don't agree with him with his version of history though. I don't.
Okay.
She came back out and she did rock the boat, and we were all expecting.
She didn't come back out. She was still on this. She didn't come back out. She was still on the scene. She was very much in the present.
No.
Felix, what do you give her reign?
Beyonce's?
Yes. Yeah. In your opinion, what do you give her reign, Felix?
Like, I just need you to elaborate so I won't talk like B. You know what I mean?
You're right. What do you? I mean, is okay. B said 22 years. T said 19. Her reign has been for 19 years. B said 22. What do you give it?
When it Crazy in Love came out?
2003.
That's when her reign started.
In 03.
It was not
So
no
you-
Destiny
and-
Child. It was not no
So you're
Destiny.
saying 19?
After Aaliyah's death, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
We should not be
It
comparing
was
Aaliyah.
I'm gonna
open.
be the
When
asshole.
Aaliyah
I'm gonna be
passed
the
away,
asshole. I'm gonna be the
That's
asshole.
not what
listen,
it says.
And this is how. And hold on. I'm just gonna give you an example. I'm just giving. I'm gonna give you an example. If it wasn't, and I'm not encouraging it, but if it wasn't for Pac and Biggie's death, J and X would not be the same. It's like,
Of course,
it's like,
no, we're not saying
I disagree.
that. Okay.
I'm just giving my announcement. I'm just saying, Beyonce, Aaliyah was loved by so many people, and Beyonce was dead. No one's really okay. Yeah, that's Beyonce. Is it? Yeah, that's different. Yeah. After Aaliyah died, that's when Beyonce says, "All right, it's my turn."
Let me add to that real quick. And this is let me hold up. Let me say this. Let me say this. Hold up, Brian. Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. Let me say this. Now, Ron, you say Ron work in the music. You know I work in the music. I work in the music store and I sold music. That's what I did for music.
You lived music for a long time. Yes, I know.
So let me say this. I am not basing it on. Do I think? I think to me, I think Beyonce's a better singer than Aaliyah. I think her overall package has eclipsed Aaliyah's. But Aaliyah set a bar just from her spirit that a lot of these artists wish they could compete with. Like, listen to anybody talk about Aaliyah. Beyonce, it's more her image is more feared than respected a lot of times when you hear people talk about her. Because it's like, oh, you don't want to go against the Beehive. There was no Beehive for Aaliyah, but if you ever say anything about Aaliyah, you will find out what it was. I tell you like this: when Aaliyah passed away, when Aaliyah passed away in 2001, there was a void that nobody filled. Not even Beyonce, even though Miss Beyonce was an ascending star, she did not fill that gap. Think about it, because they were still jocking Aaliyah's style. Aaliyah had every female with the tank, with the, you know what I'm saying, with the hole at the top, with the stomach out and all that shit. Even Destiny's Child was in that shadow. They were. She was in her shadow. They all were. The only big artist, from my opinion, that was coming from the 90s up to 2000 that wasn't in her shadow because she was in a different lane was Mariah. Mariah, Erica, and Mary J.
Felix,
those are the top three.
Felix, you don't disagree with that, right?
So here's the thing.
Do you disagree with that?
He didn't. But listen, so there was a gap. There was a void when Aaliyah left.
So what?
There was a void.
I agree. I'm just
elaborating on why. I'm just elaborating on why I wouldn't put Beyonce in that queen spot initially, because there was a void, and there was a lot of artists that came out in 2000 that dropped albums, and it was like, is this the new girl? Alicia Keys. Listen what I'm saying to you. Alicia Keys.
Dope artist.
Alicia Keys sold the record.
A minor.
That album made people say, wait a minute, who's going to take the spot? That album did that. She was winning all the awards. Beyonce didn't have a solo album to get any awards, to get any like legitimate accolades to take that spot. That's why I said
you guys are off by 3 years. I get it. You guys are off by 3 years.
And this is exactly why I'm saying it needed for Beyonce to have a solo, and that's one of the reasons why she left the group, because she needed to be a solo star to actually shine, to take that next step. Destiny's Child was holding her back from getting that. Do I think she would have eventually got it? So I understand why you would just go ahead and give her the credit. No, just because I think you're the best boxer, you still got to get in the ring and fight. You still got to get in the ring and fight.
It's a 3-year difference.
Okay, I know, but
I get it.
I don't know. I'm gonna just that. I hear you. That's cool.
When Songs in A minor came out
in 2001,
Alicia Keys was the biggest female R&B artist.
Yes, she crushed buildings.
She like her sales. The only other artist that was competing with her, it wasn't Beyonce, it wasn't Erica Badu, it wasn't Jill Scott. The only female artist that was competing with Alicia Keys was India Arie.
What
At
year
the
was
time in 2001.
Yes,
what year
at that
was
time.
Soldier? I don't know. I'm just trying to go back. What year was Soldier? The Destiny's Child joint?
Oh my God, shit. That might have been 2000, 2001, maybe 2002. Maybe. I think it came out 2002.
Right? That's why I say that. That's why I know. I'm not trying to. I'm only saying that because I give her 20 years because I'm calculating when that album came out.
You got to remember that Destiny's Child dropped like 2 albums in the 2000s, I believe.
Oh,
that
so
Soldier
I know.
album and
No,
that Cater to You album.
I
Beyonce's
know.
part of that Cater to You. Beyonce's part of that Cater to You album, and that wasn't a great album.
No, I'm trying to just date back to when Soldier came out. I don't know. That's why I said 20 years because I think I'm assuming that's when that album came out was in 2002.
Came out 90. That's crazy.
The Soldier song was on the Survivor album. So that's 2001.
That was 2001. Yeah. Okay, so that's
I believe so. Soldier might have been Soldier might have been on the one that came out 2004. So Beyonce might have already had her solo album before that song came out.
Wait, she went back to Destiny's Child after her first album?
She hadn't left yet. She hadn't left. She just dropped. She hadn't left. She just dropped the solo album. She didn't leave. She didn't leave Destiny's Child until after Destiny Fulfilled. She was still part of Destiny's Child. She just dropped a solo album. Then they dropped the Destiny Fulfilled album, and that's after. Then she left.
Whatever album. Okay, whatever album Soldier was on in my head, that was I feel like that was the beginning. So that's 2004.
Yeah. That's I can see it. Yes, that's 2004 because that's the song. That's the album that had Cater to You on it.
Mm-hmm.
The album was called Destiny Fulfilled. Listen to the title.
That was the Kelly Intervention album. Yes.
The Kelly Intervention album.
The Kelly Intervention album. So Dangerously in Love was out before that.
But so Dangerously in Love came out in 2003, and then they did
overlap.
Dangerously in Love. You gotta it's an overlap. You gotta remember she had the album had nothing but fucking super producers on the whole album, so every song was a fucking.
Nobody's gonna compare Jennifer Lopez to anything else.
Jennifer Lopez, man, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Jennifer Lopez, what the fuck?
You're talking about 2000 to 2003. So no, I didn't.
What just happened? Wow, Felix's face looks just so distraught right now.
Jennifer Lopez.
If we're talking about chart-topping records, Love Don't Cost a Thing did, chart for long.
And the Latinos bought that album up. Come on, man, stop playing.
The actual song we're talking about. That's what I'm saying. Because we're splitting hairs with when Dangerously Crazy in Love came out, and what are we doing?
I was just because everybody you had 22. He had 19.
and I'm gonna stand by the 22.
I'm just gonna say 20. So I don't know.
We're going. How many iterations of Destiny's Child is there? Let's just be
three.
There's
4.
There's
3 iterations. There's 3 iterations.
There's 4. Actually. There's 4 because Fair.
Really?
Okay.
The original.
There's a Kelly Michelle Beyonce.
That's 3.
There's a Kelly Michelle Beyonce.
That's 3.
And then there's a whole other group that she's in that became Destiny's Child. That got renamed.
What the fuck? We're not talking about that shit. We talking about Destiny's Child, bro. The amateur version of them. Okay, yes. All right, I give that. I'll give you that.
That's 4.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I give you.
And technically, it is still. You could say that because Farrah was in the group still, and then she got kicked out after.
That was the second iteration. Farrah was part of the second iteration, and the third iteration was minus Farrah.
The thing is, it was Michelle Farrah, and then it was just Michelle.
That was 3.
Okay, so
but I give you 4 if you want to count the amateur version.
I am going to count it.
Okay. Did you hear any music from them?
Absolutely not.
No, they didn't even have a.
Because
They
a
didn't
lot
even
of
have a
their
record deal.
music
They didn't have a record deal. That version didn't.
they
That
did have
version
a
of them
record
didn't
deal.
have a record.
They were on Columbia. That's why they came out on Columbia in '97.
Not, no.
What do they call those record deals, Ron? What do they call those record deals when they fucking try to develop you, whatever the fuck?
Oh,
what are those?
This is a developmental deal.
Ari Lennox had, Courtney had a fucking record deal the same way. They try to develop you. She had a record deal for way long. She did. I'm talking about Beyonce and the group had a record deal way before 1997 when they dropped fucking Bill, not Bill's Bills. Fuck. What's the joint that got remixed by Wyclef?
Say my name.
No, whatever.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I had a record deal way before that. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, man. That's 22 years, bro. I'm standing on it. We can move on.
She wasn't the queen while Leia was breathing, but I love you though.
She's not the queen, but she was better than everybody else still.
Okay, now you mentioned Beyonce. So to get back to our original point, you say that to say what?
I say that to say, like, you can have a queen that's still on top in 22 years in the 2000s and me not be able to say that the 2000s is better than the fucking 80s?
All right, so here's the thing. You rank 5 decades. Is the 2010s in those decades? So that's 10 years. So that's 10 years she the queen. That's 10 years she the queen that don't rank in your top 5 of R&B.
But it's 10 years before, because I said 22 years. So in 2000, she was the queen. She was a queen.
But
in those, and you're asking me in those 2000s. So you brought up Alicia Keys. Cool. That's a part of my fucking 2000s.
Yes.
You brought up NDRE. That's in my 2000s.
Yes.
You brought up fucking D'Angelo. Even though his biggest hits is in the 90s, he had joints into 2000s. Jill Scott had joints in the 2000s.
Voodoo came out 2000.
Erykah Badu had joints in the 2000s.
Yes.
Fucking
Donnell Jones' album came out 2000.
Donnell Jones had classic album.
Dave Hollister's Chicago 85 was in the 2000s.
Album. Donnell Jones, that was a great album.
Jimmy Cozier. We can go.
That's not a good album, but I like him though. It wasn't a good album.
Yeah,
his first album.
It wasn't a good album. I like him though. He had some good songs, but it wasn't a good album.
Who didn't have a good album?
No, the Jimmy Cozier album should have been better than it was.
Okay, cool. Okay,
it should have been better. Cool. Clive made sure he put the one thing about the 2000s that I liked was when Clive birthed J Records. When he birthed J Records, that gave us gave us some hope going into the future. I'm saying it to say this. You mentioned Beyonce as a point for the 2000s, and then you mentioned that she's the queen still, and I give you that she's the queen. She's been from the 2000s to the 2010s, even going into the 2020s. Beyonce is the top dog, but you won't put the 2010s in the top 5 of the R&B decades. So that means her competition isn't as good as it would have been if it was in the 80s. Like Beyonce wouldn't be held above Mary J. Blige or Mariah in the early 90s if she came out as a solo artist. You know what I'm saying? If Beyonce came out as a solo, she wouldn't have touched Mary J. Blige. Beyonce sings way better than Mary J. and they still would love Mary J. is just untouchable. You can't say shit about Mary J. Blige. Like, yeah, I used to argue all the time, like, yo, Mary J. Blige is not a great singer, like in live. Like studio wise, amazing. Live, not very good. But you can't say that to people because they want to fight you over it. You know what I'm saying? They want to fight you. But go listen to Mary J. Blige live. Like, it's not she's so her vocals are so middle of the road. But a lot of artists from the 2000s on up are like that.
Let's talk about Mary J. Blige for the 90s. Yeah, she's still better singer than Bobby Brown.
Jesus.
No, it's not it's not even close.
But we're not talking about the 90s because we all have the 90s above the 80s. So that's it's an irrelevant point. In the 2000s, like I said, Music Soul Child is probably one of the biggest artists in the 2000s.
B,
He's not a better singer.
B, listen to me, B. You pissed them off when you put
Who?
the 2000s over the 80s. Listen, that's
No.
what
I just really wanted to see, like, I need to know, like, how can you overlook a lot? And I knew where he was going to go, and he went exactly where I went as far as
And
the
we talking
hypocrisy of it. The hypocrisy of it.
Wait. Before we end this conversation, because let's talk about music. Yeah, his single probably came out in '99, but his album came out in 2000. Just Listen came his first album.
Yeah.
And the second album came out in 2002, and his third
He's
album.
a 2000s artist. Yeah, he's a 2000s artist.
Yeah.
I listened to them 2000s. Soul Child.
Yes.
Oh man.
But
And
I mean,
those-
just
And we can talk about not being able to sing, and he probably doesn't have the best voice. He can still sing better than Bobby Brown.
nah, he doesn't.
Oh,
He doesn't.
oh, nah, we're just gonna.
I'm telling you, he doesn't.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one.
He doesn't.
Do we consider, do we
And then you gotta think about it. Like, music doesn't sound like
Anthony Hamilton? Do we consider Anthony Hamilton 2000s?
Yes.
He was mid 2000s, yeah.
yes.
Like
consider
Jennings,
Anthony
late
Hamilton?
2000s.
Because his best album was his
2000.
first album, and that came out in the 2000s.
Where do you got where's Tyrese at?
Oh wow, 2000. Oh wait,
90s. His
90s.
first album was in the 90s, and that's his best
I
album.
would say 2000 though. He lines
His
into
best-
2000, right?
His
Tyrese,
biggest
right?
records are in the 90s. His biggest records are in the 90s.
Sweet Lady was in the 90s?
90s, yes.
Yeah,
That's like 98.
Yeah,
Oh, was it? 98.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
It might have been
Because-
97, but I want to say 98 though.
It might have been 90s. Yeah, it was 98.
It was
But
Jaheim is
Tyrese
2000?
Tyrese came out with the Coca-Cola commercial in 95 because
do 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 do.
Redman
Always
Redman made a skit.
Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Redman made a skit about the Coca-Cola commercial on
Oh my God, bro.
Muddy Waters in 96.
Shout out to Redman.
And
Shout out to Reggie Noble.
Reggie Noble.
I got a soda. You
And y'all can't have a
none
goddamn
of.
sip.
I got
No. It's only, he said,
Yeah,
I got a
goddamn
soda, only enough for one.
Yo,
I love Redman, man.
Yo,
It's
that's
epic.
I gotta listen to
y'all
Okay.
can't have a goddamn sip.
You can't have a goddamn if you don't shut that singing shit up, nigga.
Hey,
yo,
Redman's airplane skit is probably my favorite one.
The chains. Yeah.
The airplane skit, when the air jacket, that's my shit.
Yeah,
The air jacket skip.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I want to change gears before I get y'all out of here. We want to change gears before I get you out of here. First, I want to say while we had rest in peace to Teddy Day.
Yeah,
Oh,
Teddy
man.
Ray.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
rest in peace.
Teddy
Yeah.
Ray, excuse me.
And shout out and rest in peace to Coach Hitman that Akeem Talib's brothers allegedly accused of shooting.
Oh wow.
So I want to talk about KD before we get out of here.
Yeah, I don't even know what the situation is.
So we all know that KD has requested a trade,
Yes.
and first he wanted to go to Phoenix, and he's trying to chase all these teams, right? Now he's saying the Sixers or the Celtics. If I am the general manager or owner,
hold on, T. He did say that he gave an ultimatum saying that
if I am the general manager or owner of the Nets, I'm looking at Kevin like, bro, you can go ahead. Listen, NBA money is guaranteed anyway, bro. So I've already wrote you off on the books. Go and sit on the bench for 4 years. I'm not trading you, and I'm not firing no GM or coach based on what you said. But I will say this. This is the only thing I give KD, and it's a nuance. Coaches lose jobs over players all the time. It's usually behind the scenes, but some of the best coaches don't lose. Like George Karl, based on players, should have got fired multiple times because the players hated his ass because he was a mean person. But I'll say this: we've seen a lot of great, or I can say great, good to great coaches get fired. Mark Jackson got fired, or he didn't get
Based on
he didn't get his contract renewed, and he was on his way to being a great coach, right?
Mhm.
Dwayne Casey was winning in Toronto, and he got let go. Steve Nash is unproven. So had KD went and said, "Yo, I think you need to get this guy out of here," had he went about it a better way, he might have gotten that from the jump. But I feel like he's being disingenuous from the jump. So therefore, bro, I can't give you shit. What team would trade for this dude? I'm not trading a bunch of picks for a guy who's, bro, you left the Warriors.
Yeah.
You left the Warriors. And then you went and got your homeboy and your homeboy's homeboy and went to the Nets. Then you got somebody else to play for you, and you still weren't happy. Why the fuck would I trade 4 and 5 first round draft picks for you to come to my team and potentially, probably pull the same shit?
And only played maybe 2 years with the team, if that.
Bro, the Nets gave this dude a fucking year to sit down, knowing you weren't gonna play. What type of why would you want that type of character to be part of your organization?
I don't know.
So we're trying to tread old ground, and that my bad. We're probably treading old ground because I agree with you on every aspect of that, but the new, I guess, twist to it is that the Nets owner didn't budge. You know what I mean? He said, I'm good with Sean
that,
Marks.
right? There's also that, right? Yeah.
You know, I support him. Which, that could be the kiss of death. That could end up, especially with coaches. A lot of times, the owner gives you that support, confidence, in public, and then you get fired a couple months later. But at this point, I think it's truthful. It's they're going into Steve Nash, and it is what it is. But
with everybody,
we gotta look at both Kyrie and KD as coach killers, chemistry disruptors, and just overall and I'm because KD's from Sea Pleasant, he's from up the street. I live here now, but I don't know, man. It's just crazy how he's navigated his career. I think I don't think he thought well enough, honestly. I don't think he thought well enough. On his second contract, I would have told my agent, yo, take me to in 2016, he should have came here. In my opinion. This is my opinion.
This is what puts LeBron so much ahead of him because LeBron thinks so far ahead of him. One thing, people knock LeBron all they want. One thing LeBron ain't never done is demand a trade. LeBron has strategically structured his contract so he's not pigeonholed. Now, LeBron, if you fast forward, LeBron would have left the Golden State Warriors and went to the Nets. LeBron would have had a contract to where, hey, listen, in 2 years, I got a player option. Oh, wait, KD did that. But then he signed for 4 years. LeBron,
because he wanted his max money.
I really wanted KD in Washington. I really did. I mean, just speaking as
so did I.
Yeah,
we all did. But the problem is KD doesn't want to. I don't think KD that wants pressure on him to play basketball at any given time.
He doesn't.
Him being here would have put pressure on himself, especially in 2016. That's 6 years ago. So he would have been in his prime. But okay, so you go to the Nets. You know what I mean? You're rehabbing an ACL. You tell him to get Kyrie, and now you're talking about the GM that got both of you there needs to leave over you.
2016, you guys would have had who? You guys would have had KD.
We would have had John Wall, KD. We would have, if KD came, it would have been Otto Porter, John Wall, Nene, Marcin Todd, Bradley Beal.
Beal was there, right?
Yeah.
Oh
And
my God.
So
um,
Kyrie
Yikes.
Irving was playing for the Cavaliers with the best player in the NBA at the time.
no, he was playing with Boston.
No, Kyrie Irving was in the NBA playing with the best player in the NBA
Got
with
you.
LeBron,
Oh,
and forced his way out because he didn't want to play under the shadow of LeBron.
he didn't want to be the. He wanted to be the man.
He wanted to be the man. He was playing with LeBron, and he got out of that. Now, fast forward, and KD watches this dude force a way out of Cleveland with LeBron. Watch him get ran out of Boston after like what 1 year
1 year.
because they felt like they were a better team without him. To the point where they say no, let's get rid of him and brought in Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker does a similar thing what he does. So yeah, like he's not the leader that y'all think he is. So he can dribble and he can shoot. Okay, we can get Kemba Walker for a fraction of the price, which they did, and then moved on from Kemba Walker. And now you got KD who says, "Oh, I'm gonna go with Kyrie." Now you choose the Nets to do this, and they acquiesce. And on top of that, they gave DeAndre Jordan a crazy deal when he was fucking washed up.
Yep.
For you, they moved all of these pieces. Play this. The Nets could probably be in. They would definitely still be a playoff contender right now if they didn't run off their young pieces to have KD and Kyrie. You guys these guys have grossly underperformed. And rather than stand there like men and bang it out,
Pause.
they're fuck all that Paul shit. Because it fit them. It fit them. So rather than stand there and bang it out, they are perfect. They are perfect representations of this generation. They can't go. They can't scrap in the middle of the street.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question though. Okay,
go ahead.
The young guys with the Nets. I believe at the time Jason Kidd was the head coach.
No,
they made to the playoffs.
He wasn't.
Yes. Jason Kidd was.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
That was years before.
Jason
No,
Kidd
he
was
wasn't.
the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets at the time.
No,
that was years before.
No,
that was New Jersey.
Jason was not the head coach of Brooklyn.
Mm-mm. No,
Jason Kidd was the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
He was at any time.
He was
Okay, they made it to the playoffs and they got rid of him. Now, do you agree? I agree with KD. I think the coaching needs to step up. Steve Nash is not a good head coach.
You know what? I can't go off that right now. I can't go off that.
I don't
right
know.
Now. You know why?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious, and this is why I'm gonna tell you that because
Hold on.
Let me. Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me get the floor.
You got it.
They got swept by Boston because the lack of freaking defense. You trying to tell me that it's not a coaching fault?
Nah. They didn't get swept for lack of defense. They got swept for lack of chemistry. That team failed because of lack of chemistry. That's why they were disjointed on the floor. When they lost in the game 7 against the Bucks, it wasn't because of lack of defense. It's because it was Giannis they was going up against, and they went.
We're talking
7.
about last year, not 2 years ago.
Up. Wait a minute. I'm going off. They were building chemistry going to begin in that Bucks series. They came in the next year and they were disjointed because nobody, bro. Their starting 5. How many games did that starting 5 play with each other? No coach can be successful in that atmosphere. You can't put that on Steve Nash. Steve Nash could have said, you know what?
What is Steve Nash? What is his title again?
Head coach.
Exactly. They pay him money to coach. I don't want to hear no excuse. Blah blah blah
What?
and blah blah blah. No, your job is to coach.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
I don't, bro.
They played against.
Excuse of why they didn't perform. If they give you A, B, and C, it's your job to make sure A and
But
B.
they didn't give you A, B, and C. They didn't give you A, B, and C. They gave you. They said, sing the alphabet song the right way. But I ain't gonna give you B. I ain't gonna give you F. And I ain't gonna give you L or Y, but sing it and make it rhyme like everything else. A, B, F, L, K, M, T. No, this ain't working. No, it don't work that way.
Bro.
It's not. Felix, you play sports, right? Okay, no. You know what, Felix? You are a film director, right? Right? There's a movie you're filming right now, right? There's film you're doing a film right now, a wonderful film. I can't wait for it to come out. Imagine having your star of the movie being take one, then take two, and then he's gone for the same scene, but he's not in there for scenes 10 through 12. How do you build that on-screen chemistry? And then when he comes back, now your co-star got to take a piss break. So you're shooting takes without that person. Well, I'm not done. Because in the film industry, the cameraman is part of that. So imagine the camera guy's gone for a couple games or a couple takes. Then the lighting guy's gone for a couple. But you're the film director and you're trying to film this piece. But you're the director.
You got to adjust. Go back to the drawing board and adjust.
Okay, Felix. But that's the thing. That's no sense. Number one, they played against Boston. They played against Boston. They played against Boston. That's a seasoned chemistry team playing against KD and a bunch of guys who aren't as good.
Okay, so they played. No. See. Okay, now I gotta stop you. I understand Boston. True, yeah, they have the history, but let me tell you this: Boston this season has been going up and down, and because of yes, it has, bro.
On this podcast, did I not? Brian,
hold on.
Felix, did I not tell you? Did I not tell you?
That might be a great movie, actually.
Wait a minute. Did I not tell you, Felix, on our podcast that Boston would be coming out of the East? I said that was around All-Star break. I said Boston was coming out of the East. So even back then, I said that they were going to the championship to lose to the team I said they were going to lose to. Didn't matter who they went through. They just happened to go against the fucking Nets with no chemistry. But guess what?
I think that's the bottom line. Where do you guys
if the Nets had played the Heat in the first round, they probably would have got swept. If they'd have played against the Bucks in the first round, they probably would have gotten swept because they didn't have the chemistry.
Right, so
and they were checked out. Bro, they traded one of the best scorers in the NBA who was on a down year for a guy who never got on the court.
So they weren't a title team to begin with.
No, they were lucky to be where they were. Based on talent at that moment, they weren't even a playoff quality team. That's the facts. KD and who else? What's the rest of that starting five?
I don't even know.
Felix? What's the rest of that starting five, Felix?
I have no
Blake
idea.
Griffin's
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So you want to blame that on Steve Nash? No. You blame that on the fact that you got guys who aren't in the lineup. Now, an optimum Nets lineup with chemistry, KD, Kyrie, healthy Ben Simmons playing defense, Nicholas, what's Nicholas something, the center with the blonde hair. Gary Harris coming off the bench. Those guys with a chemistry, no way the Celtics sweep them. But that's not the team they win against. I'm not blaming it on Steve Nash, but I'm also not saying Steve Nash is a good coach. I did say he is a unproven coach.
So you're blaming it on the players not being on the court and not having chemistry.
Yes. Okay. But fast forward, who's part of that not having chemistry? The leaders, because they're the ones gone.
Well, that's everybody. That's coaches, that's the assistants, that's players, that's everything. That's everybody. Everybody needs to be held accountable. Everybody.
In this, we can talk about accountability. Kyrie decided to, whether or not you care, whether he's right or not get vaccinated and still to miss 41 games.
Did y'all hear what Kyrie's wanted in his new contract?
Was that?
Yeah, he only wanted to play 60 games.
He wanted to play no more than 60. He didn't say only 60. He said, I don't want to play no more the 60 games and no back-to-backs.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I understand. Yeah, they're gonna
I
make
don't.
that. They're gonna make it in the next before the lockdown, because I see why most players are actually. It's not only Kyrie, it's most players, because the back-to-back is like
The real question is do players have too much control now?
These players are pussies. Period.
That's the real question. They have
They're
a
pussy.
lot of control now.
They're pussy.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm an owner, I'm like, I'm not signed. I'm not trading for KD. That motherfucker got to suffer in purgatory or play.
These
there.
players have a
I'm not
lot
trading
of
for him.
control right now.
I'm not trading for him.
It's a lot to say.
I'm not trading for him. I'm
There's
damn
a
sure not
lot
trading
of
for Kyrie
Whether
Irving.
that's right or wrong, that's great. I mean, it's not the craft. There's one thing having control at where you play or not play, which is I agree with. There's another
free agency.
thing. Yeah, it's more than free agency. If I can be cut at any given time, especially with football or basketball or whatever, it doesn't matter. I would want is if I'm playing well, I would want the control of where I want to play at any given time.
They got that. NBA players,
and I said that. Yeah, and they do.
most NBA players have guaranteed contracts. So whether I cut you or not, you're still getting bread.
My problem is that you're like saying that you're not going to play the 82 game schedule. You understand that it's an 82 game schedule. So my thing would be then you would get a prorated deal of whatever you think.
He ain't trying to do that though. He ain't trying to do that. He wants the money and the less games.
So yeah.
You're saying
I'm not a big fan of
paid for what you play?
Yeah.
Are you saying get paid for what you play?
Pretty much.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. How about that, huh? That's a great counter. We won't pay you for these 22 games.
Like I can pay you for 60 games. I'm gonna pay you for 60. I ain't gonna pay you for if you don't play, I don't pay you.
Right.
Period. If you don't play, I don't pay.
Yikes.
We can do that.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Hey, I bet you the motherfucker show up for that 61st game then. Like it's like when motherfuckers call off for work, hey, I ain't coming in. Then it's like, yeah, if you don't come in, tell them motherfucker if he don't come in, he ain't got no job. Who coming through the doors 5 minutes after that? It's just some bullshit. Hey, listen, fellas, I'm glad they got you here. I ain't trying to talk too much longer, but I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But Felix, you got anything for us before we get out of here?
Rest in peace to my homeboy Steve. Steve forever.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Steve.
Open Secrets, 3 months away. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a movie. You know what I mean? And hell to the Commanders. You know what I'm saying? NFL season about to kick off. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Me. I mean, even though I'm a Redskins until I die, though. But hey, it is.
Ron, what you got for us, Ron?
That's all.
What you got for us, Ron?
Oh man, I always love these conversations, man. So, shout out to everybody. Shout out to all you guys, man.
Bye. Yo, B, stay away from them dog food, man, because it'll make you talk different, dog.
Shout out to Zella for money.
Shout out to Zella. Shout out to All First Verse. Shout out to
All First Verse, always.
The movies that we watched over the last couple of weeks. Shout out to Cabo. That was fun. It's a movie. And shout out to the 355 is a dope movie. Jessica Chastain. It has Lupita in it. I can't remember. It's almost an all female cast with a Sebastian Stan, and shout out to Rafa Man. It's a Guy Ritchie movie with Jason Statham. It's pretty good. It's really good if you watch it.
Hey, check out First Shift. I mean Day Shift.
Day Shift.
It's a nice new vampire movie.
The Jamie Foxx movie. I've watched. I need to watch that. So we'll catch up. You know what I mean?
And I will say this before I get out of here. I told people that I like Nope, and it was only the one thing that I would change. I didn't want to do any spoilers. At this point, you should have seen it. had they made the alien look more fearsome, had the alien look more fearsome, the movie would be better.
Oh, nope.
It's yes.
So it's the same as Signs.
The only issue I have is the only issue is I have with is the alien.
So a lot of people have the same criticism with Signs.
Hey, listen,
so that's what you're saying.
I think the alien in Signs is more spooky.
Because y'all spoiling for me.
I'm gonna watch it, but
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this: the alien looked like a big ass sheep flying in the air. It was just a big sheep flying.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. So it was a Ku Klux Klan member. Like
no, no, it's like a more like a shawl than a white sheep.
Okay,
but it was I liked the movie. I'm just saying the only thing it was missing was like a scary alien to like put it over the top. But it's a good movie. You want to ride up?
All right, one. Peace.
One. Love y'all, man.